In early May of 1973, on the Isle of Wight, two children wandered into something that still refuses to fit neatly into any category. Not quite a ghost story, not quite a UFO case, and not easily dismissed as imagination, not with the detail they described. The incident was later documented in a 1978 issue of the British UFO Research Association journal, recounting an encounter that allegedly took place near Lake Common in Sandown, close to the small airport there. One of the children, a girl around 10 years old, referred to under a pseudonym, was playing with a boy of similar age when they heard something strange. A high-pitched wailing sound, reportedly similar to an ambulance siren. Curious, they followed it across the golf links, through a hedge, toward a swampy meadow. Then the sound stopped. As they crossed a small wooden footbridge over a narrow stream, a blue-gloved hand reportedly appeared from beneath the bridge, and a figure emerged. The children later described it fumbling with a book, dropping it into the water, and scrambling to retrieve it. Awkward, almost embarrassed. Then it moved toward what they described as a metallic hut, like a small site cabin, except it had no visible windows. The way it moved, they said, was strange. A hopping motion, knees lifting high, as if walking wasn't entirely natural. The children began to leave. Then the sound returned, louder than before. The boy panicked and ran, and the figure reportedly called after them, "Hello? Are you still there?" Something in the tone felt calm, friendly, so they approached again. What they described next is why the case still circulates today. They said the figure stood nearly 7 feet tall. There was no visible neck, the head seeming to sit directly on the shoulders. It wore a pointed yellow hat attached to a red collar and a green tunic. There were odd antenna-like shapes on the hat. The face, they reported, was stark and unnatural. Triangular markings where eyes should be. A square-looking nose. Yellow lips that did not visibly move even when it spoke. The figure then reportedly wrote in a notebook, not smoothly, but word by word, assembling a sentence. "Hello, and I am all colours, Sam." The children asked what it was. Was it a man? The being reportedly laughed and said no. Was it a ghost? It replied reportedly, "Not really, but I am in an odd sort of way." "What are you then?" "You know." And here the story becomes unexpectedly human. According to the children, Sam said it was frightened of people, afraid it might be harmed, and that it would not fight back if attacked. At its invitation, the children crawled through a flap into the hut. Inside, they described 2 levels, the lower with headroom and patterned walls resembling dials. There was an electric heater, simple furniture, nothing overtly advanced, nothing theatrical. They reportedly spoke for some time, possibly half an hour or more. Then the children left. They told the first adult they met that they'd seen a ghost. He laughed, but the children remained consistent in their story. Weeks later, when the girl told her father, she reportedly became upset when he suggested she had imagined it. The boy later confirmed to the father that he had seen it too. When the father visited the location, he found no trace of a metal hut, no obvious sign it had been there at all. So what was it? A costume hoax? A shared childhood fantasy? A misinterpretation of something ordinary in strange light? Or something that stepped briefly into view, spoke softly, and then withdrew? There is no physical evidence confirming the encounter, no official investigation that resolved it. Only the children's testimony, detailed, unusual, and preserved through publication 5 years later. There is no evidence strong enough to confirm the experience, and no explanation complete enough to put it fully to rest. Because sometimes the most unsettling encounters aren't violent, they don't roar, they don't threaten. They simply introduce themselves, say they are, all colours, and vanished back into the quiet, as if they were never meant to be understood at all.